Should I do your intro?
Yeah, I should probably do that. Ah, gosh, this is so cringy. Welcome, everyone, to our actor tier list. And I'm here joined by my good friend Dylan.
Yo.
That's Dylan.
Yep.
Yeah, so we are going to be kind of ranking actors according to, I kind of put it in as like four basic aspects or elements. Like, the first one is their performance. Then it's variety. Then it is what is it? It is their memorability, and the fourth one, their performance variety. I'm such a dingus. Wait, I have it here. Shit, I don't. Wait. It is performances, variety, commitment, and memorability.
Oh, dedication. You mean
Yeah.
okay? I get what you mean.
Yeah, commitment. um. So yeah, we got a whole like list of I like compiled about 100 actors more so. And yeah, this is going to be interesting. So, starting off is our boy Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, we're starting off hot with him. Adam Sandler.
Oh, I'm like hitting a straight C here, just because I don't know what the list is gonna look like.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on C. Like, Adam Sandler is a very memorable actor. I'll definitely give him that. Like, when you see his face, you know his face. Especially
Okay,
like
but
with. Hmm?
let me ask this: what
Yeah.
particular movie role do you remember the most from him?
Okay, so for me, it's the mixture of the grown-ups movies as well as what is that very famous one from the 90s? Happy Gilmore. Um,
Uh,
it's like his older stuff like that. Those were like his very, I want to say like his top movies. But then I also remember him for stuff like That's My Boy. Like it. The only thing with Adam Sandler for me is that he
um,
does sometimes feel like he's playing Adam Sandler in this scenario. Like, you get what I mean?
yeah, I get what you mean. Like, it's basically he's not playing the character. The character is more or less molded around his personality.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. So it's like I
The,
think, hmm?
the main serious movie I somewhat remember from him is The Water Boy.
Yeah, the Waterboy was also like again, that's like an example of his old stuff. Like that one was quite good. Wasn't there like this other one that he did? I say somewhat recently, but it's like Uncut Gems or something like that. He also has this other thing of Hustle that he made, but I haven't seen it. But then he
Like,
also made that weird Halloween movie.
he also made the Pixel movie, or he was a part of the Pixel
Oh
movie.
yeah, the Pixel movie. Gosh.
Yeah, I think C is a
I,
good place
I,
to start with
yeah,
movie.
like a nice middle ground. Oh my gosh, I'm dreading this one. Second off, Amber Heard.
Starting off, the main place I mainly know her from is Aquaman.
Yeah, I think. Oh gosh, I actually saw her. Or do you want to talk about Aquaman first, and then I'll get to kind of where I'm
She
thinking
didn't have
now.
too much of a major role in Aquaman. It's not like there was much moments or to test her acting capabilities. She was there.
She was there. I think that can be like personified as most of her roles. Mm,
She plays a lot in like of the DCEU movies. Like she makes a lot of cameos in the other movies, but I wouldn't say there's a lot of active roles I've known her from.
and like another thing that I saw her in, and I think I actually told you about this when I saw it. She was in this series called Criminal Minds, which like to those of you who like are watching and don't necessarily know what it is, it's kind of like this crime series, but it's with these psychological profilers. Or it's this federal team of um profilers who like look at the psychology behind the criminals to determine the suspect. And in this film, or in this episode, Amber Heard was the victim, or like was like the person being hunted. And she was side by side with another female actor. Who's that one who played Lagertha from the Vikings? Um, Catherine Winnick. And they're standing side by side, both making their performances. But like, there hasn't been a singular tear that shed from Amber while acting, whereas like there's literally tears trickling down Catherine's face. It's like you can literally see the duality of quality of acting there.
Let's use it as a benchmark for E for now.
Benchmark for me
For E.
for E. E, she would be
Yep.
like bottom E. Like, aside from the controversy that she was a part of, um, there hasn't been much.
That you can recall from her.
Yeah, like memorability wise, not great. Commitment wise, not great.
Jeez.
Performance wise, abysmal. And variety, she
Doesn't have much currently.
yeah. Um, yeah. So not good at all for Ambi.
Jeez. These next 5 is gonna hurt.
Yeah. Amy Adams is next.
There's this one movie I watched with her where she acts as like someone who's trying to do the recipes of this particular famous cook and add it to her
Ooh.
blogs. That movie she was very good in.
Like I only remember her for two roles, which was the like Superman, like Man of Steel, where she was Lois Lane, and she was in Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. And her character, like in that movie, she was quite like a little bit of a. She wasn't the smartest, and she played it off like perfectly. Um, so I'm actually like giving her quite like she's got quite a good score in variety and at least performance wise, because it didn't feel like she was portraying a character. My only thing with like the Man of Steel franchise is that like I can't exactly remember how well she did, but like I think that might have had more to do with the script than anything.
Ah,
I'm not sure. I don't know enough of Amy. What would you comment on her?
the movie she acted in that I recall her from was she did a pretty good job in that one. Let me see if I can actually get the, the name of the movie.
Bump the mic. Let me see. Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of the movies. American Hustle, Leap Year. The Woman in
Oh,
the
she was
Window.
also in Arrival.
I've
Arrival's a pretty good movie. She was
I've never watched.
in terms of variance, I think she's got good acting chops because she did like portray in that one movie pretty well.
She was in a
Arrival,
movie with both Meryl Streep and Joaquin Phoenix at some stage in her career.
huh?
You know what? I'm willing to give her a B, like at the
I,
very least.
I think B is a good like a good tier to start off with.
Like, uh, she's probably like an A, but largely because I don't know everything that she's done, and I think that's going to probably run through a lot of the female actors that we're going to come across, is that the demographic for their films are generally not catered to us, so we haven't seen a lot of their films. Um, so that's kind of like where I'm at with her right now. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, nothing. What do you think? What's on your mind?
Now, I was just trying to see if I can find the name of the movie, but it seems it's a lot more difficult to locate.
Oh gosh. Um. Well, I think we can like maybe look for it after, like see which one it is. I'll like put it up.
Oh, it's called Julie and Julia.
Julie and Julia.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's the one with Meryl Streep.
Mhm.
I saw here. Yeah. Okay. Next up, I think you and I might have differing opinions on this. Andrew Garfield.
Hmm. I'm thinking like B plus.
B plus. Like, why do you say that?
Because I know he's got very good acting chops, but I just can't recall a lot of movies that I've seen him from besides like Spider-Man, The Network. What is it called? That what is that other one that you showed us?
Oh, Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, yeah, Hacksaw Ridge.
I still haven't watched The Social Network. Um, like I haven't seen how he is in that, but like when it came to his performance in Hacksaw Ridge, Spider Man, we don't talk about Spider Man because like that was a pity that like in his career I think it was awesome. Like seeing him, I do quite like him more than I enjoyed Tom Holland's Spider Man. Weirdly enough, um,
I can understand that.
like I don't know, he was just more appealing to me like growing up. But yeah, in regards to Hacksaw Ridge and this other musical that he did, the Tick Tick Boom, I would say that it was actually really well done. Like he got into the characters. I think that's one thing I'll definitely give him credit for is that when it comes to the characters that he chooses to portray, he does his best with what he has.
Let me ask this: in terms of variance between the roles we've seen him as,
Yeah.
how various, like how far apart are the roles that he plays?
I mean, take for Hacksaw Ridge for instance. In Hacksaw Ridge, he put on an accent. He like played in this very quiet and very like to himself character, and then something like Tick Tick Boom, he's like this theatrical, very flamboyant, very out there type of character. But it's not so much in the sense that it's like, as you'll see with probably other actors in this list, is like where it's like it's a complete character change. Where it's like,
Like
hmm?
he portrays someone who I would say is like pretty like almost like an emotional teen on very well,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
in the sense that how he's like able to invoke emotions, kind of like in Spider-Man 2, even though he is playing it Peter Parker then. But also like in um, Hacksaw Ridge, he's also like a teenager character at that point when he's
Yeah,
playing that character.
yeah, I
I
would
think
actually
he
say,
plays
yeah.
that role well, but in terms of variance, I can't really grade him high because I don't know much other roles.
Yeah, because like really, I am going off of the three films that I mentioned. Like that's where I kind of got to see his, like I say, his level of variance. But I think if I had to watch more of his stuff, he would probably show. But in terms of actors, I'm I'm definitely looking at B, like a high B at the very least. Like he is better than most actors, I would say.
Hmm. The thing is, in terms of commitment, what has he done in that regard? Because currently he's like down on two categories here.
Like in terms of commitment, when I was looking at the behind the scenes for Tick Tick Boom, because it's based off of a true story, it's like he kind of did something similar to what Rami Malek did, where it's like he looks very in depthly to who the character was, and he tries to mimic it so finely to the point where it's almost like the people around him were like, it's hard not to see him as the character itself. But I think especially like it's hard really to capture that with like stuff like with the Peter Parker, Spider-Man and all that. I think that's kind the best way I can say is that I think Andrew Garfield probably has one of the highest potentials in regards to acting. I just don't think he's had like that access to
A big
many great.
catalog
Yeah,
currently.
he doesn't like he has good movies that he's been in, but I think he needs some more.
I think slide him just like at the top of B for now.
Yeah.
We will be moving things up and down depending on how things
Yeah.
go later on. Especially if there's not a lot of people in D and E, we're gonna have to move some down.
Yeah. Oh, and now one of my favorites. Um Andy Serkis. I feel like there's not much debate, but I feel like that's an easy A or S.
He played Gollum very well. He played Caesar very well.
Yeah.
Don't know what he was in the Lord of the Rings.
It was Gollum in Lord of the Rings.
Or not Lord of the Rings. I mean Venom. Venom. Didn't know what he was in Venom.
What was he in Venom? Okay, so in Venom, he was. Come on, come on, Andy. Let's see. Who were you in Venom? Gosh, he's like not up there. Why?
I think just based on like his
Oh, he was the director of Venom. That's why.
the facial caption, like acting, I would easily put him as S because I think he does it better than anyone else.
Yeah, it's also
I
like
mean,
his
you spent.
voices.
Oh yeah, he also put amazing, like a amazing South African accent in
Yeah,
like
Black
Wakanda.
Panther. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was brilliant. Like,
Also in Avengers 2. Yeah.
oh yeah, he was in. Yeah, that's where we were introduced to him. He was apparently also in King Kong.
King
He
Kong.
was a character named Lumpy.
King Kong Lumpy.
Yeah, no, I can't really remember who he was in that.
I I think he was like one of the commanders, but I think put him as A for now.
He was also Alfred in the new Batman movie.
That is true, but I don't think I recall his role standing up
Yeah.
particularly in that movie.
Okay, yeah. So, Andy, where are we looking at?
I think high A for now, because
Yeah,
like I plan to limit the amount of people going to S as much as possible.
I feel you. I feel you. All right. Another bit of a favorite for me.
And
Anne
Hathaway, okay,
Hathaway.
she's straight into A, like straight into A or S. I'm sorry.
All right.
Like
Oh, we had to justify it.
um, her performance in that this one movie. I suck with movie names. Let me just quickly see if I can get it. I think
Princess
it's Devil's
Diary.
Prada.
Oh, The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Her performance in that was amazing.
She was also in
Also, in,
Interstellar. She was
yes,
brilliant there.
she was also in one of the best movies of all time, Interstellar.
I thought you were gonna say Princess Diaries. But no, apparently I haven't watched it. But apparently her performance in Princess Diaries is also phenomenal. So I
Oh,
will go with you on that in turn, especially like, oh gosh, I was like dragging the wrong image. Um, but yeah, I would say like A is an easy Anne Hathaway. It has it written all over it.
like I can easily say, like in terms of like female actors, she's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, and it's like it's
She's also
also
she was also Catwoman, and everyone knows her from that as well. In The Dark Knight Rises.
oh wait, was she
Yeah, she was Catwoman.
Dark Knight Rises?
Zorn Bane.
That makes sense. I still need to watch that one. But okay, yeah,
Hmm.
no, that makes sense. Like I also I'm like looking especially at her with the rest of the roster. Again, I can't really compare so much to Amy Adams because I haven't seen much of Amy. But like especially with the list that we have so far, she's like a league above them. Like she A feels right.
Yeah, it does.
Ah, all right. And then now the
Okay,
old
this has to be an S.
Anthony Hopkins.
He has to be an S.
All right. Why do you say that?
Silence of the Lambs, enough said.
Okay, but now we have to look at like I'm like very far with you.
He
But
also acts as like Odin in what is it called? Like in the Thor movies. He also, okay, to be fair, I don't think anyone remembers him from Transformers and this new ones because apparently he was also in Legend of the Fall, which is also one of the better
uh,
movies.
yeah, I'm actually like I do honestly. Oh yeah, he was also in that Noah movie. Like although yeah, a lot of people wasn't too much of a fan of that film. I thought his performance in it was still phenomenal.
Okay, he was knighted for his acting skills.
Yeah, I mean I'm looking at off of like his roster. I mean, he probably has a higher roster than a lot. He played Hitler. Okay, yeah. S tier. Enough said.
And can't remember much of Legend of Zorro, but apparently he was there and he was there as well.
Really?
Hmm.
Wait. Oh, the Mask of Zorro. Oh yeah, you know who he was? I believe he was the master of Antonio's character.
Hmm.
Like I think he was like the master boy.
Okay, I think he's like at worst, I'm gonna say he's barely S.
Yeah, no,
That's
I'll
that's
I'll
like
definitely say that.
he may not be top S, but I think he's definitely in S.
Yeah, we'll put him at S. Like it's either
'Cause
like
I do think
bottom.
he's above the two we have in A.
No, definitely. It's also like I, I'm I'm mainly just gonna like list the ones that I've been a part of, like the Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal. I hear a lot of good,
It's
and
pretty much similar roles in the two, though Silence of the Lambs is the better film for him.
then a lot of Hannibal films. Then, like we were talking about, he's there with in the Thor movies, Transformer movies, the Two Popes. I heard a lot of good things about that film. Um, I don't remember much about Elephant Man, but my guess is it's about Jack the Ripper. Noah movie, like. I can't remember the movie well, but I remember his performance in it, and that one was really good. And I'm not gonna talk about Red, because that movie was I don't I just see it and I remember not enjoying it. But yeah, like he's in a lot of good films, and I have no doubt that he did his best in all of them.
I will say, like, besides like a mentor and like killer figures, and like I guess like wiser, more aged figure like characters he plays, I'm not entirely sure if I've seen anything beyond that. I guess he has been more comedic in Thor Ragnarok, for example, but
Okay.
I feel like there's a lot more movies I've seen him. I'm just not registering.
Yeah, I kind of feel you. It's like it feels like he's been there, but we just can't seem to.
Okay, let's speed through.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, some of the like the MCU character, like what is it called? Actors. We might speed through.
yeah. No, that's fine. Um, it's like I'm fine with like turning this into a two-parter because I mean, I'm gonna be here for a bit.
Yep,
Okay, Antonio Banderas.
Spy Kids.
Is that where you remember him from?
It's probably the only place I remember.
Really? He's like the voice of Puss in Boots. He is the mask of
Oh,
Zorro. Like,
damn. To be fair, I've not seen the Mask of Zorro, but for Puss in Boots, they did a very well job in terms of
yeah,
his.
it's
Ugh, I barely remember Uncharted, so that means I cannot really credit his ability in that film.
he is also the mask of Zorro. He is Zorro.
Isn't that
um,
kind of ironic? Both roles he plays as like a musketeer of
yeah,
sorts.
yeah. I guess it's like that might be his niche.
Mm, possibly, yeah. Because besides those two or three, I've not seen him in much others.
Yeah, he was in SpongeBob movies.
And there's in the Expendables as well.
I can imagine that the thing is I imagine um Antonio to kind of be more of an action actor with like a little bit of a flair to him. He's not
I think
like Sylvester Stallone or things like that. I would categorize him separately as them, but it's like he is. Oh, he was also in Desperado, which I heard a lot of good things about.
I think I put him high C tier.
I see. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, I could do that.
like I feel like some of these characters actually is gonna move down a bit,
Okay, I
but
think yeah. For me, I think I would put him low B.
hmm. Okay, we'll see how things move around. But I think like thing is, I think those two actors perform better than him though.
Yeah, that's why I said low B. So it's like he's not higher than these two, but he's higher. Like I wouldn't put him on the same level as Adam Sandler, you know?
A good
Like
idea. Move Adam down to D. Move him to C.
okay.
There you go.
Sorry,
See?
Adam.
Whoa,
Problem
whoa.
solved.
Oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Now Ben
Ben Affleck.
Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Yeah. So
Affleck.
bad flick. So I can't comment too much on Ben Affleck. The only thing I know him for is the Batman movies. Maybe I've
Good
seen
Will
him.
Hunting. The Accountant.
Yeah, like
What is it called? Batman, obviously. He's been in actually like a lot of movies.
yeah, like
Okay,
there's Gone Girl, which I know that I'm gonna say a lot of people love it.
he plays pretty reserved characters, all things considered, or like more like jockish characters. Wh- Like, there's not like a lot of roles where it's like he's pushed. okay, I don't, a lot of roles I've seen him where he's pushed to his limits in terms of acting chops. Because like even in Armageddon, like, and I don't really recall how like prominent he was there. He was also Daredevil, which I'm pretty sure not many people liked to begin with. And
Yeah,
in Good Will
it's
Hunting, him as the friend, he was more just that goofy friend to the goofy yet kind of like wiser friend to the main character.
yeah, I get what you mean. It's like it's almost for me it's like he has the possibilities of being a part of the very great actors that existed, but it's almost just like he's just a step below them.
As a reserved like character, like in The Accountant, where he plays an autistic hitman. Um, I think he does it well, but it's not like he's like overly expressive. He's very reserved in that movie as well.
Like, would you say that's because of the role that he was in, or a result of
Um,
him as an actor?
I don't think it's a result of him as an actor. I just think he finds himself in roles like that, where like even
Ah,
his role as Batman, pretty reserved, pretty mysterious,
so he
like really
found
stone faced.
so kind of like Antonio. It's like he has his niche and
Yeah,
he kind
I
of
definitely
sticks
think
to it.
he's. Hmm. I think he might be better than Antonio though, based on like the two films I've seen.
So we would put him like high C, like like in front of Antonio.
Yeah,
Yeah. Next up is Ben Stiller.
I think the one role he does very well is the flamboyant type of comedic role. Because if you
Yeah.
think about it, that's like um, what is that one movie that's like been memed a lot about recently?
Oh, Zoolander.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Zoolander. This is the other one I saw as well. Let me just get the name here.
Okay. He was also in Night of the Living Museum, which like
Night at the Museum.
the Night of the. Why do I always? It's like a weird Mandela effect.
Blades of Glory. Like he was also he's in very flamboyant like character roles. Like even Alex is pretty
Yeah.
fun
But
role.
it's one thing I'll at least give him credit for is that never in my time of watching him was I like, oh, it's or it's like Ben Stiller playing this. You know, like that weird trope of like what we consider The Rock today. It's like
Ah, I see.
his character still felt different enough that it didn't feel like, oh, it was just Ben Stiller being Ben Stiller. So it's like I would say like he's different from like Adam, for instance.
Think is middle C, I would say.
Yeah. So would you say that he's better than Antonio?
Hmm. I think he's definitely got a lot more expressive roles.
Probably,
Actually,
yeah.
no. Actually, no. I don't think so. Like upon remembering Zorro and stuff like that. Hmm.
Um, you know, this is I guess where the discrepancy between the types of actors they are comes in. Because like Antonio is a very dramatic actor, whereas like Ben Stiller is more comedy, family films.
Let me
Um,
say this. I think that they're close, but in terms of like his contribution to like animation stuff. Okay, I would say Alex is something I would say is like one of the fan favorites in terms of like animation characters.
oh no, like I would argue that Madagascar is like up there in terms of,
Probably,
and
but I'm
also
pretty sure there's a lot
Megamind.
more.
Yeah.
But he just played Bernard in Megamind, not Megamind himself.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was Steve Carell that played Megamind. Jeez, I always used to mix those two up. Yeah, then I'm like trying to see here. Zoolander. The
Like if you had to like measure his roles, like I think Puss in Boots was a more successful and more what is it called varied role in terms of like the voice in comparison to
yeah,
Alex.
like it's kind of hard because with Puss in Boots, it's like he's a memorable character and a fan favorite. But it's like when you think of like Alex, he's literally the main character. Um,
Puss in Boots, he is the main character.
yeah, in Puss in Boots. I mean, like
Yeah,
mean
that's what I'm
like
saying.
in Shrek, where he like was introduced.
Yeah, like I didn't really like value him as much in those previous films as
Yeah,
compared to the new Puss in Boots.
yeah, I would probably say that Puss in Boots is now more relevant, and probably especially because of this new film.
He
Or
will invariably become more relevant.
yeah, like I guess I
Okay,
guess like
I'll,
Ben Stiller's mostly just he'll be in C. I'll put him behind Antonio mostly because I guess in this current stage,
okay, let me
Antonio's
say,
works are more memorable.
for his expressiveness in Zoolander, I'll put him above on top of C tier.
On top of C tier,
Yeah, I will
so
do
like
that.
on B
No, like
or like
top C,
top C.
top C, top C,
There we go.
top C. Benedict
Uh,
Cumberbatch.
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 um, I loved him in Doctor Strange. He makes an excellent Sherlock Holmes.
I like
Uh,
them as Smaug. I like them as Khan.
he was
Like,
Smaug.
yeah, he was the voice of Smaug in The Hobbit. So he's got pretty memorable roles
Yeah,
so far. Okay, Khan, like, I'm not sure, like, I'm pretty sure that's like that movie in general is more controversial, but I thought he like had a pretty good presence as playing him. Whether or not I think he's similar to the original Khan or not is a completely different thing, but I did enjoy him in that movie.
which movie was this? Sorry.
Oh, Star Trek Into Darkness. He
Ah.
played Khan. He was the super soldier guy who broke the.
Oh, I believe I remember. It's been a bit.
He also got played in the Imitation Game, which is like I think it was like these people who solve like something to do with like math equations when it comes to like radio signals to help direct thing not things but the naval forces or to actually think it's like almost like the development of like Morse code or like communication like through like these mathematic algorithms, but he plays a I wouldn't say autistic, but maybe like a slightly autistic person in that film. I think he did very well in that film.
My gosh, I'm also seeing like that he was in 12 Years a Slave, Zoolander as well. Like, not to mention he's Marvel. I would say that especially. I will say this for sure in regards to like the
He also,
Marvel.
he
I
also played Sherlock Holmes.
yes, that is true. So I think in regards to especially like in comparison to a lot of like the Marvel actors, I would say he's probably one of the better
I
ones.
think in I think in what he does well. I
Yeah.
think in variance, he's a bit lacking.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Commitment, I, I, I think he
Mhm.
does as much as any other actor.
Yeah, I would
Um,
say as well. Commitments, like I've not seen like mega body transformations come from
yeah,
him. That's not good.
I'm gonna put him high C above Ben Stiller.
Ah, that's
Um,
agreed. Okay, next one's a straight
yeah,
S.
yeah, Brad Pitt. I think you and I have like talked about Brad Pitt's performances quite enough, but like for
Troy,
essentially, yeah,
Seven. What is it called? What is that other one that people like so much?
Fight Club.
Yeah, Fight Club.
Yeah, it's the thing is like with Brad Pitt is that I don't know how people feel about him as a person. Oh gosh, I have to like get rid of my Steam notifications.
Legends of the Fall as well.
Just give me a sec.
He was also in like I think Ocean's 11. No, no, no. Is it Ocean's 8 or 11?
I think it's Ocean's A. But
Okay, I know. Oh, it's 11. It's 11. Yeah,
oh yeah.
Ocean's 11.
But yeah, even like with this new latest film, The Bullet Train, he was although yeah, it wasn't his best role that he's had, he was still good in it. Like,
I think like he's got like very comedic roles. He's got very
hmm
serious cop roles. He's also got like survival-ish type of roles, and his performance as Achilles was. I can't think
phenomenal.
of anyone else as Achilles besides him.
It's like, and I know that apparently with the Mr. and Mrs. Smith, he was also like that was also a very big hit for him. World War Z also, he was good in that. Inglorious Bastards, he was like another top one for him. I
I'm pretty sure it's like played in some sort of like what is it called, like romance gig as well. Also, it's
yeah,
the voice of Sinbad.
that is true. Like that's the thing with Brad. It's like Brad, he's my friend, you know. um, that's the thing with him is that I've seen him in a comedy, I've seen him in family, I've seen him in drama, and I've seen him
As in
like the survival
thrillers.
thing. Yeah, exactly. It's like he's in variants. He's high up there. I don't know how committed he is.
I think his body transformation, like he put on like a lot of weight for the role of Achilles. I think he also like sprained his ankle doing the stunts.
Yeah, and also I mean his choreography, like with Bullet Train and Troy. Um, Even in Bullet Train, like he was like doing accidental fighting scenes, which is like it was. I think that was one of the highlights for me in that film was like how well he was doing them, and I don't know, he did it very well, I'd say.
Yeah,
But yeah, Brad,
I think
easy yes.
yeah. Maybe not the top of S, but I think he's definitely in S. I think he's definitely like ahead of like, for example, like Andrew Garfield
Yeah,
and like the rest.
yeah, it's like I don't know how he competes with like Anthony Hopkins. That's kind of like where I'm not sure. I mean, he's a brilliant actor, and I'm kind of willing to put him in front of Anthony, but in comparison to everyone else below him, I would definitely say that he's
The thing
done
is like
much more.
it's so strange because the roles they do well, but it's like
Yeah,
it is hard to see like where one edges out the other because they both had like very good movies that they're known for.
yeah. Like I think I'll
But
probably keep it as is then. Just
yeah, I think
see.
Anthony's still ahead.
Yeah. All right. The next is Bradley Cooper.
Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, one of the things, but I'll give Bradley this like as a big runoff, and this is going to kind of be consistent with everyone else on the list who ends up doing this. Actors who learn to sing for their roles, I like they get a little bit of brownie points. Um,
Ah,
so he was in the fall. A Star Is Born, um, which
I've heard good things about that. Yeah,
yeah, another my mom loves it. Guardians of the Galaxy Rocket is one of my favorite characters in that like in that group, if not my favorite. Hangover, he's also really, really hilarious in that. Um,
thing is, I actually have not seen him in much. I've like offhandedly seen him in some movies, but like I've not really seen him as well as I would have liked to. So I can't really give a strong opinion.
he was also in the A Team, the 2010 one, and
Oh,
I
mm.
that one was so funny. I love that movie.
It is
Um,
funny, but like I can't really say like what is it called. He plays very bombastic characters
yeah,
very well, I think. Because
like
like I think Rocket and the A Team guy. Okay, I think Rocket definitely is a bit more less out there in comparison.
yeah. I would actually one thing I will give Bradley is that in terms of performance, he's good. Like his voice acting for Rocket, for instance, spot on. I don't think you can really like it. It
Question
was
is he in B or C?
I. That's kind of like where I'm going down like the categories to see if I can help make up. So performance, I would give him like a nice 8 for what he does.
Okay,
In
but what
terms
is
of
what is a 10?
variance, hmm?
What is a 10 in performance?
Like 10 in performance is almost like where it's
Like
like you
Jack
don't.
Sparrow's Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I guess you could say it, but it's
20
like
Jack Sparrow.
I would say like performance is not so much of how he plays a certain character. I mean, it is, but it's like
Is
um
his emotional range like with Joaquin
yeah, it's
Phoenix?
like kind of like say like when you see like Rocket crying and then like he actually performs the voice acting of crying. It's like if you're able to make me feel something for that with the voice acting, that's good. But it's also like with the Star Is Born, with the Hangover, it's like he's. I wouldn't say that he's ever really like held back with these performances. I'd say that he goes quite far in.
But tell
Um,
me, like, has he had like one of those emotional banger films, like on like the
I,
level of Devil Wears Prada or like Seven or like any of
I
those
don't know,
things where it's like
but
you could
that's
say it's
more.
just like his key role or like his best performance type of thing.
I think that might be in A Star Is Born, but I have yet to see it. But in regards to like, I'm like looking at his performances that he's done, like with the characters that he has played. Even though it's like the range, like the variety is, it's kind of like the same with a lot of the average actors, where it's like they're good at what they do, but it's like there's not a lot of range to it. I would say the furthest range I saw Bradley in, from Hangover to Star Is Born to Guardians of the Galaxy between. So
I
it's
think for fairness, I think C.
like high C. I will at least give him that.
Yeah. Also, I don't. I'm actually not sure if Benedict Cumberbatch is like on top of C now. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel you. Like I would say that he's on the same level as Ben Stiller. Um,
Yeah.
but it's like Bradley is
Actually,
definitely
I'd say Ben
ahead.
Stiller is ahead of like Benedict.
Really?
Yeah, like I think when he expresses himself, like in the Zoolander films, I think no one else can really replicate
Okay,
that.
fair. Okay, I'll give you that then. All right, so Ben Stiller up ahead. Then it's my baby boy, Brendan Fraser,
Oof.
and
Who all remembers the George of the Jungle film?
yeah, or still one of my favorite movies of all time. Even though it doesn't, it's the movie itself is like maybe it's shouldn't be a favorite of mine, but Journey to the Center of the Earth is like one of my favorite movies. And like Brendan Fraser was an actor that I grew up with a lot, and like his era of movies or like the movies that he brought to life was like awesome. Like I don't,
I know one movie is playing with Leonardo DiCaprio. Apparently, he plays well in that. I think definitely his more like magnum opus role is definitely like The Whale currently.
yeah, and I'm really glad for that because it's like it now sets a different precedent of acting from when he was doing the like from the 2000s to now
Because like
because
I would say
okay,
like
you
his
go.
mummy. Oh, sorry.
That's
Continue.
okay. No, good. Um, but yeah, it's like with the Mummy and with Journey to the Center of the Earth, it's kind of like it's good action movies, and it's like he makes compelling characters, and he went far and beyond. Like he actually like hurt himself quite a bit because he performed his own stunts. It's in terms of an action actor, it was great, but now with the Whale, it sets a different precedence and level from what he's capable of.
Because from what I understand, like a lot of his like Journey to the Center of the Earth to the Mummy to like George of the Jungle had pretty much very similar. Okay, George probably a
Yeah,
bit more goofy, but his previous roles are more like comedic, adventure badass type of feel. But with the Whale, the fact that he's almost like able to get to the inverse for the role,
yeah.
and like, well, if you saw like any scenes from that film that is towards the end, you know his range is very good.
Um, One thing I'll definitely say about especially old Brendan, the way how I would kind of call him now is that he was Dwayne Johnson before Dwayne Johnson, except he did the Dwayne Johnson better. Like, because you know, like how Dwayne Johnson has like the same, like he's in the same film practically, where he's always wearing khakis or whatever, and it's like something in the jungle. Brendan had that, but he was still compelling character. He was still a compelling character in each of the films that he was in.
I'm thinking like, what is it called? You're gonna have to talk me down from this. I'm thinking like a high eight.
Oh.
You're gonna have to somehow talk me down from this.
See, now here's the issue. I don't know if I can because I don't know how good the whale was. B, I'm biased. So, if anything, I think
Let me just say this: The Whale, being his magnum opus, is a very strong magnum opus role.
okay. I'll take your word on it, and I'll give him an A.
Come on, you could do a better like job at fighting me than that. Like he could have maybe brought up his variants. Not okay. The thing is, He doesn't have a lot of roles. He doesn't have like a big catalog, but the two roles he has that I've known him for is so opposite one another.
Yeah, like that's kind of why I'm not arguing with you on it, because the thing is, I remember him from The Mummy, George of the Jungle, Journey to the Center of the Earth, the Looney Tunes movie, which was also like a favorite of mine. And I'm trying to see what else I can find here, because I know there's more. Because I used to watch quite a couple of his films, but the thing is that he was
I'm
in
actually oh, sorry,
he was
continue.
in romance movies, he was in comedy movies, he was in action movies, and now with his most recent one, a very dramatic, very well done like piece of cinematography. So it's, I would say, like, even before The Whale, he was a very fair various actor. But although it's like he had kind of like a weird niche that he fell into, even though he was quite various in that. But I think with The Whale, it brought him up very high. And because like now the only thing is I will say is that with The Whale, it set him up for a big standard. It was kind of like a revival film for him.
Yes.
And if it's almost like if the next movie that he makes or is a part of is to that level, then I would even go as far as to put him at S.
Hmm.
But that's
Okay,
like dependent on whatever next project he works on.
I wouldn't say that, but like, okay, I'm saying like maybe low S. Also, I think maybe Anne Hathaway may be a bit better than Andy Serkis.
Oh, right, I'll give you that.
Hmm. I actually think we have to move some people down from C to D, and moving from eventually some people from B to C.
Otherwise, you know what I could do? Oh no, I don't know how to add like extra. I can add a row.
Okay, let me say this: we should put like C and call it the basic Marvel level.
Yeah, I think like yeah, what I'll do is like I'll say this is good good actors. This is average actors. And I think here I'll put some of these.
I think slide down Benedict and Ben, both of the Bens, all three of the Bens.
Oh, all three of the Bens. Oh my gosh, that's three Bens, I just realized. All right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I just realized. And now this is E and that's F. So it actually kind of works itself out. D. Yeah, there we go.
Whew. Well, some of these actors is like I know a lot of people's gonna fight me on on some
Yeah,
of these things
that's
I'm
the
gonna
thing.
put.
It's like I can already see like where some people are probably going to be like, "Oh, but Antonio like Banderas deserves to be on a higher level because of this film, and Benedict Cumberbatch is like deserves to be on good." But it's like I think it's
Okay, if I'm being
eh,
honest and being truthful for myself, I think we should move Brendan Fraser down to top of B just purely because I don't have a large movie catalog from him.
right. I think like I'm willing to put him at a very high B at the very least because
Yeah, I think
um
like he's currently like kicking the top of B like
yeah,
actively.
and I'm happy for him. He deserves it. And then Brie Larson.
Hmm. I know her from Kong. I know her from obviously like Captain Marvel and like Avengers.
See, I'll check in with other things that she's done. Um, Fast and the Furious,
Uh,
21 Jump Street.
pretty sure like at some point I just gave up on watching the Fast and the
Yeah,
Furious.
yeah. It's like I don't consider it movies anymore. I consider it a franchise. Um,
She was in Good Will Hunting.
really? I know that she's been acting a long time.
I cannot remember. Okay, this is a weird scenario where I think this might be the first character I feel that I've not seen enough good movies from her that she's either gonna go in bad or she's gonna go into I don't know.
I think I'll give Brie Larson the benefit of the doubt because like I'll put her in the don't know enough.
Yeah,
Um,
let's put her there. if like okay, if I just go based off like the Avengers and like Kong and I guess Good Will Hunting because I can't remember her in there, should be like yeah like not even like above Sandler in that regard.
Yeah, like it's the only thing is that with Brie, I'd say is that I didn't come out of like Captain Marvel or Kong and I was like, oh, but Brie Larson's character was phenomenal. If anything, like from Kong, I remember Tom Hiddleston.
Ah
Um,
yeah, that is true.
and from Captain Marvel, I remember Samuel L. Jackson. Like,
That's the hard thing is I can't see if that's just writing that makes her appear so bad, or is it her acting chops?
yeah, like we would definitely need a bit more like films from her to really like see if okay, is this
Hmm. Okay, honestly, let's just like just drop her an E. We need another one there. I feel
yeah.
sorry for all those who's got like a good movie that you're gonna drop, but for my catalog, that's where she goes.
Oh, okay. Now this one I
Bruce
know that people are
Willis.
very, very conflicted with.
Very good
Um,
previously, not so good now.
yeah, his current movies are awful. But his okay. Oh
Die
wait.
Hard.
I will say though, I don't know if the current like if his acting has changed so much. I know that he currently has something going on. I think it's like there's something with age that's happening with him.
Uh, yeah, but like
Um,
okay, if we like look past that, I think what roles he did well in, he did a lot of action roles very
yeah,
well. He
like
also played a villain in one, I think, in one particular role that was so okay. Sixth Sense. That's also
yeah, Sixth
something.
Sense was quite good. Like he was
Jesus,
like very gentle character.
he's got like actually a very heavy roster of things, going from Die
Yeah.
Hard, Sixth Sense, Armageddon, Pulp Fiction. Jeez, like all these movies I've watched and actually enjoyed very well. That's I think he's definitely like hmm, at minimum he's in B.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
I
he's
think I'm willing to
I
go
think
there.
he I think he might be high B.
Yeah, I would put him above Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
Like for
I
sure.
think things like he's got so many good movies previously. It's just that recently, with all these indie films and this one horrible one, like with this alien
Yeah,
I
that's the one I'm
watched.
thinking of. That one was
I think the one role he set himself apart in, I think he was playing this villain type of character who's like a hitman going after the main character. Sure, I don't remember much of the film, but that's the one. He was the one guy I remembered from that film. So also, Sixth Sense is like one of the best out there.
yeah, like I remember I watched it and although I can largely blame the internet for it, I did see the end of it coming. But it's
Oh,
like still his performance in it was phenomenal. And I think a quick mention because I see Split here, like from the movies that he was in. Um, because I don't have him in this, James McAvoy, I would easily put an A. Um, who acted as Kevin in Split? Because I think out of that
oh,
franchise, I would like he was the main takeaway from the brilliant actor.
he's played in a lot of good roles from what I can remember.
Like I think Split, like, is definitely all that kind of like set him apart. But I don't want to put too much like time on him because he's not on the list. But as a quick mention, I would put him A at the very least. He's set apart. Um. All right
Put
then. Hmm?
Bruce like at hmm. I am I I think unlike the Avengers stuff, thing is, Brendan's just got one magnum opus over Bruce.
Yeah.
Bruce
Okay.
has got multiple magnum
I
opuses.
was thinking that because I was like, Brendan's amazing, but Bruce has had a bit more of a successful career with like what
Like,
he was doing.
if you like just focused on his previous films, I would actually say as like an action hero, he probably is A or S. He's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
the one who more or less defined those roles.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking we should put him in A. Now I think
Okay,
about it.
I can give him that. Like, B Brendan Fraser will still be leading B.
Uh,
Bruce Willis will still be in A.
I know we're not gonna hear the end of it for a lot of Breaking Bad fans if we don't put this next guy in this.
Ah, yeah, Bryan Cranston. Like, I'll give Bryan one thing is that he is brilliant. Um, for what he did in Breaking Bad, like his character was good, and there was another one that he did with Kevin Hart recently. Um, I think it's Your Honor. I
He's
think.
also in Godzilla and Best
Really?
Actor probably in the first film.
I didn't know he was in Godzilla, but then again, it's like my memory of Godzilla is like terrible.
He's a very good actor. Like I think we'll put him in S just for like namesake because he's in terms of his he had like the whole Breaking Bad to basically refine his like acting chops
That is true. Like no,
and like
that's
his
a.
range because like he had like expressed so many different types of emotions in that role and was able to convey it so well.
I'm with you there. It makes me realize something that like actors who acted in series might actually have a bit of an advantage over some of the actors here who purely did movies.
Hmm,
Um,
probably.
but yeah, okay, I'll give that. If anything, like I'll give him a low S, maybe high A, because it's like he's phenomenal, especially at Walter White. It was brilliant, but the variance, like I haven't seen him play another type of role, but like I think that's where his other films come in that kind of change that. Like he does have a comedy, I believe, with James Franco.
Hmm. I think he was the dad in like Kung Fu Panda
He was
3.
also he was in, I think he was in Seinfeld, or at least Malcolm in the, yeah, he was in Malcolm in the Middle.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
just say
and that was like a
for
very humorous role. So yeah, S tier.
yeah, I think for Breaking Bad purely, he's an S. Though from variants and catalog, I would say that's his only main weakish point.
What?
Like the catalog of stuff he's done.
Uh yeah, I think like the weakness for me is like would more or less be the commitment for his roles. Like
Hmm. Thing is, like, depends. Like, are we talking about mental? Okay, I don't think he's actually like shown like Heath Ledger stuff or
uh
like what is called Joaquin Phoenix levels of commitment.
it's like that's why I was like more thinking high A, because it's like in regards to as far as actors go, in terms of acting capability, he's amazing. But I don't think he's gone as far to the level of like Brad Pitt. I would. Ooh, that's making me
Reconsider Brad Pitt.
not only Brad Pitt but like Anthony Hopkins, because like I would consider these three on the same standard almost.
Okay,
Okay, I
I'm gonna.
think for now then I'll leave it as such until we get more.
I do think the thing is I like Brad Pitt so much, but like his main emotional roles that I've seen have been like mainly like Achilles. What is it called? How he was in like towards the end of Seven. Like I guess you could also say his more bombastic role in what is it called? Fight Club. Other than that, like I guess Legends of the Fall, but I can't remember that so well because that was a movie I know I enjoyed, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I think, like I said, for now I think we'll keep it as is, and as more people start being added to the roster, I think we'll eventually start shifting.
Because like there has to be some heavy hitter S's for me to like
Yeah.
move them.
Then we have Charlize Theron.
How do you spell that?
It is with Charlze Theron.
I've like I recognize it from so many movies. It's just that it's hard to really pinpoint Charlie Theron.
Oh, it's she was in Devil's Advocate, which I think that was
She was in Mad Max.
yeah.
She was well, that Mad Max role really gave her a very good edge.
Because if I'm not mistaken, in her role in Devil's Advocate, she was more of a seductive, the the desirable woman, essentially.
Ah, she also played more or less like a badass in Mad Max.
Yeah, and the old guard is weird because I wouldn't consider it that great of a movie, but I watched it quite a bit. I think I watched it 4 times. It was a good. It's still a movie that like I think about every now and then. Um, and she was also Snow White and the Huntsman. Um,
To be fair, like those roles, like in Hancock and like in Prometheus, I don't think she stood out as well as she did. Like her main magnum opus is like what is it called, Mad Max, and I guess the Devil's Advocate, as you may put it.
yeah, like oh yeah, and she was in A Million Ways to Die with in the West, but there it's like I wouldn't necessarily say that she stood out again.
Hmm.
Uh, you know
I don't think
what?
she's on Anne Hathaway's level.
Mm-mm. I I would put her CD somewhere there.
Ooh, like
Like,
even below like Superman, Emily or Amy.
see, the thing is, oh, because I'm trying to think. Like, when it came to Mad Max, maybe it's because I don't remember it well, because it's been a bit. But I don't remember her too well in Mad Max, so maybe you can like help me with that. But in the other roles that she's been in, like with Hancock, with The Devil's Advocate, I think The Devil's Advocate is probably her best one out of the four. And in Hancock and in Yesterday, it could possibly just be
I feel
because
like
she was a side character, but she didn't really stick
I
out
give her like
so
Brendan
much.
Fraser's like level where I think Mad Max is like a magnum opus for her,
Okay,
where it's like she was like above average, but then her magnum opus was like Mad Max. I think I'll give her like top C for now.
top C. I can do that. Top C. All
Yeah.
right. Dang it. This guy's name is hard. Just give me a quick second, because this is going to interrupt the stream. Not stream, recording. Okay. I actually at least have the names here. This is Chiwetel Ejiofor. Um,
Huh.
so it's CHIWI. Oh, CHIWE. Um, his best movie, or like or not the best movie, but like the movie that I think of immediately when I see him because of how well he did it was 12 Years a Slave. This could actually be taken out of context, I realize. The best movie that, or it's like the movie I think of him when I see him is 12 Years a Slave. No, yeah, that can bad me. Um, he was in The Martian. Actually remember him in The Martian.
I don't
Um,
remember him in The Martian.
I think he was one of the people on Earth.
Yeah, I think he was like he's probably one of the communicators, but I definitely or like one of the director guys. Thing is, I can't really remember great roles from him.
Like in 12 Years a Slave, that I think that was like another like Brendan Fraser moment where it's like that was his magnum opus. That was like the that was like his big film. Apparently, also there's this other film that he's in called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. This was actually a movie that I wanted to see. Um, and apparently he did very well in this as well. Like that's a 86 or 5 out of 5 film, and he's like the lead in it. Um,
Thing
but
is, like
it's
this comes to a point where I don't know enough. For me, it's like heavily I don't know enough to really. I've not seen enough of the movies that he's in, for example.
I know that he was in Doctor Strange because I remember watching it. He was like the
Yeah, it was the guy who was teaching Strange in the
yeah,
first one and became like a. It was alluded to become the bad guy in like the second one, but that didn't really
first
pan
one.
out.
Like yeah, it's regards to his. For me personally, I
I
think
think
he's. I would give him a B.
So we're just saying like his best is comparable to their best,
Like I
like their
don't,
magnum opuses.
yeah, I don't. I would put him between Brendan Fraser and Andrew Garfield. I
Ooh, you think it's better than Andrew?
I think he is. Like,
Oh, okay.
is the only thing is like I don't know much about his other films, but like his two best films is better than Andrew Garfield's two best films. That's kind of like what I'm kind of going in with it. So that's kind
Okay.
of at least where I will put him. Like,
Two of you Chris's are like don't have a lot of good films that I know you from.
it's time for Jamal. um, Funnily enough, I will put Chris Evans above Chris Hemsworth anytime. Um, this is largely is looking at Chris Evans. He's actually in this new movie now called Ghosted that I have not seen yet. But there's this movie that he's with called Gifted, which apparently is also like brilliant. Um,
He's like in C.
see.
Yeah, I'd say
Okay,
he's in
yeah,
C.
yeah, good. I can go with that because I think of when I think of Chris Hemsworth or Chris
Oh,
Evans.
actually, no, no. Actually, wait. I actually don't think he's better than Ben Affleck, though. I'm not entirely sure about that.
Uh, yeah, the thing is like where I kind of give him credit. Um, oh, he was in the TMNT movie. Oh, but he was like Casey Jones. He was the hockey guy. Um, yeah. So in Avengers, he was Captain America. Especially like my favorite of the Captain America films was Winter Soldier, and I think he played that role perfectly. Gifted, it's like a
Thing is,
another serious role, but then
okay,
there's What's Your Number? That was like a comedy role slash romance. There was also Not Another Teen Movie where he plays a jock. It's actually interesting to see that transformation because he started off with very jockish roles, like, and then it transcended into more serious, a bit more dramatic roles.
thing is, I don't know. Okay, in terms of like his emotional expression, in terms of like most of the Captain America movies he's in, I wouldn't say that Robert Downey Jr.
Okay, sorry, you're just
So
gonna have to
yeah,
repeat some of that. So you don't
there's a
think
large
that?
possibility of me just like thinking of putting him in between C and D somewhere.
Um, so just to repeat that, it's more his emotional expressions.
Yeah, I don't think like he's like carried me away with his performance in any particular film.
Ah, yeah. Okay, no, I can get behind that. Like, I'll put him. Let's see. I think I'll put Charlize Theron in.
Chris Hemsworth straight into E.
Yeah, like, mm,
Okay,
I would
he
actually
was
put
very,
him.
he was very good in like the Avengers, Infinity War, and at the beginning of Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, I
The
would
expressions he conveyed.
actually. I
He
would
does like what is it called? The
hear me.
yeah, I can hear.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to
I
make
was
sure.
just trying to first finish the statement.
Oh yeah, my bad.
He goes for like the wounded warrior type of mentality very well, especially when he uttered the line. I should have gone. He said I should go for the head, so I did.
Yeah. Like for me, it's like when I place him, I wouldn't put him on the same level as Brie Larson and Adam Sandler. I think where he is kind of like low D, um, where it's like he's an average actor. I wouldn't consider him bad. Like I think he does his job perfectly enough, but it's like I've just never been blown away.
Mm, I can see that.
Then there's Chris Pratt. I think I'm kind of putting him same place, D.
Chris Pratt. I'm putting him like flat on like in like B or something.
Wait. Oh, I'm just thinking of Guardians of the Galaxy. I forget that he was in. Oh, I was about to do
Also,
you dirty, bro.
Passengers.
Yeah, because that's where I was thinking immediately when you said the Passengers was really good.
Not only that, but like the okay, I wouldn't say the Tomorrow War. This is like another series that he played in recently, like as like a ex-military dude. That was so
Oh, the
it was also
Tomorrow
very
War.
yeah, that was also good. Also, his performance when as Peter Quinn, it's one of the two.
Yeah, Peter Quill. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Peter Quill is like easily he's got the better emotional expression out of a lot of the other actors in the same roster as him.
Oh, I really like am swallowing my words of how I was supposed like I'm just about to like bring him down, like dismiss him.
I think he's like in low B, but like he's easily got like on average better chops than some of these other people. On average.
I'm like also looking through some of the other stuff. Like, I mean, one of the other things I remember him for was um, what was that series called that he like? Oh gosh, he Parks and Recreations. There we go. Um, he he played as like a very chaotic, like it was comedic. So nothing that far from what we usually see him in. But he also voice acted. I think his name was Emmett or Emmy in the Lego Movie. Tomorrow
Oh
War,
yeah.
like you said, that was I never watched it, but I've seen you show me clips, and yeah, Passengers, brilliant. I love that movie. Guardians of the Galaxy. Still, what hits me was like, this is a bit of a spoiler warning for Infinity War if anyone here has not seen it, but if you haven't, then you probably already had it spoiled to you at some stage or on. Come on, get with the program. Um, was when Gamora died and like his kind of that weird reaction to that is like that still to this day one of weirdly underrated things I found enjoyable about Infinity War and Endgame was Gamora's and Peter Quill's relationship largely because of Chris Pratt's acting in that like conveyed the sadness in it.
I
So
agree. Okay.
I'll meet you
I'd,
there.
I'd say let's put him top C.
Top C.
Top C, very close to B. Depending on how this list changes, he may go higher or lower.
Right. And
Okay,
then
this
I
one's
have
like I think a pretty easy slam dunk.
yeah. Christian Bale, easy
Commitment,
S10.
easy. Got two or three or five magnum opuses I can think
Yeah.
of.
Like I will just say the and I still need to show you this movie, Dill. The Machinist. Easily, I think one of the coolest psychological films I have watched. Like I put that above um what is it? A Fight Club. Um just because it's like it's his dedication to his role in that was like perfect. You can the way how he acts, you can almost feel the tiredness that is supposed to be emitted. In Batman, he was a perfect Batman. American Psycho, whew, that was a good
Yeah,
one.
but did it very well though.
Yeah, that's why it's like with the few, it's like that's how hard it hit.
Okay, like I know it's an S tier, but from what I've seen, I think he chooses movies well. But I'm wondering if he's actually got a very big catalog.
Um, because I'm looking even here, his role in The Prestige, he was even good in that film. That was like the magician show with Hugh Jackman. And I'm looking, trying to see what else I can find here that he might have been a part of.
Okay, let's just say when you see him in a movie, more times than not you think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, definitely.
Like here's the reason why that recent Thor movie was at least watchable. When he showed up on screen, you thought, okay, this is where like the movie is actually somewhat good.
But then now, doesn't that set a bit of a precedent now? Like everyone can kind of agree that Thor: Love and Thunder was a bit questionable in quality, but if he can make something work out of that, that's a testimony.
Yeah, I just like the only thing I could say is I wish he had like a bigger catalog. Like what is it called? Tom Hanks. Like Tom Hanks is like the catalog of catalogs where there's so much to choose from. But
Like,
I'd say like Christian Bale easily sits in S.
I would put him above, like, at least from this current roster that we have right now, he's at the top of it.
Yeah.
There isn't an actor currently so far that we've gone through that matches his level of variety, dedication, and performance levels, as well as memorable roles. Like, I'm still to this day like thinking of his role in The Machinist, like, and the American Psycho, just because of how strangely convincing it was. Um, Batman, I think that film mostly highlighted on Joker though, but even in that, he did amazingly.
Yeah, like I don't think it was a bad Batman.
Not at
Sure, like
all.
I think like they could have leaned more into like Batman's detective side, a bit more like in the follow-up Batman movie, a bit more. He played the Bruce Wayne dynamic very well.
Yeah, no, he did. I remember. Like,
It just needed to be a more convincing Batman.
yeah, it's like if Robert Pattinson, for instance, could like capture Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne, and I think like Robert Pattinson's Batman probably would have ended up being the better one.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, no, I think that will at least conclude episode 1 for the tier list. I know that this is probably going to be a bit of a series because we still got about quite a couple. We went through a very old bit of them, but it's because it's like we have a lot to say. um, yeah, no, I'm excited to kind of see how this list is going to chop and change for the next couple of days. But yeah, no, this is going to be interesting to see. Like, I never would have expected Bryan Cranston, um, Christian Bale to be on the same level. Like, to be honest, you know, like I didn't. You could tell me whatever it was that I was expecting from this. I wasn't expecting that. But
All like all the Waltz fans was like, say my name.
yeah, yeah. Oh
You're
gosh.
goddamn right.
Or did I not expect Adam Sandler to be on the same level as Larson? Like, not so much like as a testimony to either one of their acting capabilities, but it's more like in visualize seeing.
Honestly, if I'm being honest, I think one or two may actually move down from A. A lot is going to move down from A to B. Some from B is going to move down to C, and some from D actually might move up to C in the future.
You're thinking Ben Affleck in that?
Um, like yeah, I do think like Ben Affleck actually might rise a bit. I think that I may, depending on how much STS come, I'm willing to wiggle that. Um, keep forgetting his name now. Who's the second guy at the back from CS?
Anthony Hopkins.
The at the back,
What?
at the
Bryan
back, like
Cranston.
from, no, like from the back, the guy next to him.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt's like one of my favorites. What's his name?
With all these names, like messes me up a bit. But I
Like,
think like what is it called? I like him a lot, but I've not seen an intense like thing he was in that's like really hit me recently. Probably like if I rewatched
yeah.
Legend of the Falls, it may like
I was about to
maybe
say it's like 7, but it said recently.
like Seven is also like pretty good. Like I think on average he stays there.
Yeah.
On average he stays there. Hmm. Bryan Cranston might just be the top of A, just purely for the fact that the main
Yeah.
role I only know him from is Walter
Breaking Bad.
White, and it's like what got him so high purely on that alone. I've heard In Your Honor is also pretty good, and I will not deny that a lot of the roles he does play in, he does seem to draw a lot of my attention compared to some other actors.
His voice is also just mesmerizing. I could get lost in that.
Like legit, I think it just might be Bryan Cranston going down to the top of A, and maybe Andrew Sarkis moving down. Things like the Gollum role is the thing that's like always coming into my head every time I think of moving him.
Yeah,
The
it's
kind
like
of role.
it's for me.
Kind of.
It's like the thing is his variety is variety in performance. I mean, like, yeah, his variety performance, his memorability. he himself as an actor, like when he's playing like normal roles, is not so memorable. But like his characters that he has played, very memorable. And it's just really commitment, like what he would do for the role. Because largely what he does is like he specializes in voices,
Yeah, I think
voice
like
act.
just purely that keeps him like at top A.
Yeah, like I don't, I refuse to put any like Andy anywhere below A because it's like there's still he sets the bar. I think yeah, I would say like he sets the bar for A. That
I
like
also like Bruce Willis. It's the bar for A.
yeah, it's like those two are currently right there. They deserve to be there. Anne Hathaway deserves to be there. Um, Amy Adams, I probably need to watch more of her movies to really like put a big thing on.
I think
But
it's like
it's
only
like
got one good movie that I remember from her. That was that one specific one.
I just
And
remember
also,
her as Lois Lane.
I actually think we might have to move her down to C.
Yeah, like high C at least, but it's like
Yeah, I think move her top of C for now.
Bryan Cranston.
Top of it. Yeah. Sorry,
Okay.
Breaking Bad fans, I cannot convince him.
Like yeah, it's just like in comparison to what the S tier actors do, Bryan Cranston's amazing, but I probably
Needs
need to
more.
watch more for
I think.
convince.
I think he just needs more magnum opuses behind his name. He needs like more movies I can say, ah, it's him.
Yeah, but I think it's like you probably won't see that now because
Hmm. Unfortunately.
ah well, that's a good rap right there.